Hey guys, what is up? Nisho691 here with Total Gaming Daily, and we're going to go ahead and introduce a new series called Faction Fundamentals. Basically what this series is for is to help you guys on any faction Minecraft server you guys may join. It's just more of an outline, sort of a structure to follow to build a strong and dependable faction. With a lot of options, a lot of places to go, and really quick growth. So this was all done, at least all the stuff you're going to see I did myself, and you can easily do it yourself too. And everything that you see here should be done actually by yourself before you set up anything else. So right now we have, as I showed on my main channel, actually this pyramid farm, and what it does, it's a birthday cake farm as I call it, gravity powered farm, auto harvest. It's pretty nice, so that's pretty good. Just goes right into the hoppers, bada bing bada boom, flip the switch, it all stops in a second. It takes a few seconds to stop. I also have a large sugarcane field for monetary purposes, but the very first thing within faction fundamentals that you need to work on and you need to think about is all good factions obviously have a base. A base is where you conduct absolutely everything. You have your storage system, you have your potion making, you have your enchanting. Everything that you have and need to get to is in your base. Now, if you have a group of friends or acquaintances that you've known for a long time, then the best bet is probably to just go allow them into your faction right away. Now what I personally like, in my opinion, my faction that I made myself, I came here and I dug out a chunk, and I'll actually show you guys. I made my base completely 100% separate from the faction base, and I'll tell you why in a second. So here is my base. It's stone bricks outlined completely by lava. There's lava running from the entire top to the entire bottom of this base. My spawners are under here, and I know it looks kind of stupid with the redstone dust, but it works. This instantly turns off all 4 spawners that are under there, and it's a pretty good deal. It's a quad core creeper spawner. Here's my main storage area. Those are actually from the raid last night. I just haven't bothered to put them away. There's my monster head walls and my player head walls. Head up a little bit, and we have egg collection. Here's my enchantment books so far, experience bottles, enchantment table. There's dogs pretty much on every floor. I don't know how they got there, but they're there. These are my potions. I love making potions. I have full double chests of every potion except for water breathing, because I can't find any pufferfish. Now this is my personal base, and what I found when making personal bases is to just maximize the vertical space you have over horizontal space. Aside from a couple things outside of the base, like the pathway up to the top of the farm and things like that, this entire base, the entire meat of this base, is within one chunk. So that's definitely saves on space. You only need to claim one chunk, which is awesome. I will show you guys right down here is I only have a couple animals over there. I had to kill them all. And then right down here is, jump down here, and I had to make a couple edits to the actual spawner faller itself, but we ended up down here, and here's where my auto kill creeper spawner goes. Just 6 hoppers and 4 chests, so it's sitting pretty good. Now the reason, and we'll go F home, I'll show you the faction home. The reason I like to make the faction home separate from my personal home and I don't like having all of my hard work put into the faction home, is because it's mainly because I have been screwed over so many times by other players. They decide to steal things, they decide to faction sabotage and blow your stuff up, or steal it and burn it. And then here on 2 Strong, the admins are really friendly, and they're really agreeable when it comes to things like faction sabotage and stuff like that. And things usually get replaced pretty easily, but a lot of servers aren't like that, and faction sabotage is just a way of life. And I personally just like to have my separate base where no one knows where it is. That way I can keep all of my things the way that I want it, and yet have a faction base that you can contribute to. You know, over here we have the storage, just a couple storage chests, not as many as in my personal base. You know, your blocks, your machines, your tools, your swords, stuff like that, food. And upstairs we have, let me see here. Upstairs we have nether wart growing and some potion stuff. Over here we have chest for experience bottles, unenchanted books, and 2 for enchanted books, as well as obviously a level 30 and a level, a low level enchanter. So that's just what I've done. And what I like to do is just separate it from everything as much as I can. I went and I found this tiny little island, and yeah, it's pretty close to the mainland, but the rest of it is pretty separate from everything else. I only use 2 chunks for the entire faction home. The way that I like to think about it, let's just say the main thing you want to think about is not only, obviously you want to save your chunks, but it's all based on power within factions. So you have, at least on 2 Strong, here I'll show you, faction. So our faction is just me. I only own 9 chunks, which is my base, my main base, and the extra stuff around it. And then the 2 chunks for this. And then the power is 20 because I haven't died in a little while. And max power is 20. So here on 2 Strong, you have max 20 power, and you lose 5 power every time you die. A lot of faction plugins have negative power. Here on 2 Strong, it's negative 10. So what it is you have a point to where if you die past 0 power, it drags you down. Obviously, once you get so low, people can start claiming your stuff, and that's exactly the opposite of what you want. So when it comes to this, when it comes to faction, what I like to think is I want to be able to die twice and still be able to keep every chunk of land. So if I have max power of 20, I lose 5 for every death, and I die twice, I'm still going to have 1 extra power to be able to keep the rest of my land. So that's just that's just a good rule of thumb to think about. I like 2 deaths because 1 death is accidental. The second death, maybe you screwed up, maybe somebody killed you again, and you can just go camp out at spawn until your power's up. So that's the difference. That's why I like to just keep the 2 bases apart. I've been, I've had people steal from me. I've had people just, obviously raid your base. It's a faction server. So, the less people that know about your personal base, the better. And that's just something to think about when you try and create bases, homes in the faction world. So that's about it for faction fundamentals on bases. Next time we'll cover some different stuff, but I just want to go ahead and throw this out there. One last thing. All this stuff is, generally supposed to be done and acquired before you go and pick people up, because that way you can keep things completely, excuse me, you can keep things separate. You don't have to worry about anything, and everything can be just grand. So that's about it. This is Nisho691 for Total Gaming Daily, and as always, you guys have a good one.